Hey, I'm Neil, and I have another web micro trend to explore, and this one is crazy mode. Okay, crazy mode. It is a super hot day in Berkeley, California. You might hear the fans running, so let's get right into it. So we're going to start simple and then work our way up to crazy mode. So just for starters, I'm on a marketing website for YGGY, and I've got a simple dark mode, light mode toggle in the nav bar here. So we see dark mode, light mode toggles all the time, especially in product design. By the way, I'm not sure if I made this clear already, but in this series we're looking at creative marketing websites, informational websites, interactive content pieces, not as much product design. But this is definitely a pattern that's prevalent in product design as well, dark mode, light mode. Not to spend too much time on the most simple example, but I do like that it's not just black and white. It's actually, dark mode is giving me that branded blue gradient. It's actually changing the whole website's color theme. This is more of like a wireframe view. So I do like the two theme options that are presented there. Okay, so let's level up one step past dark mode, light mode, and we have color theming. So I'm on nan.xyz. It's a Type Foundry website from Berlin. And instead of a simple dark mode, light mode toggle, I have color theming that affects the global color palette. Okay, so they're limiting my options to these 4 pre-baked themes, but it's still nice. It adds like an extra layer of interactivity and a big theme, I would say, in providing these kind of themes, whether it's dark mode, light mode, or all the way to crazy mode, is delighting the user, surprising and delighting the user, or letting them feel like they have some kind of personalization or customization to their personal experience. So I think that definitely does that. Okay, let's get to the first crazy mode example. This is a microsite all about grids. It's sort of an educational website from Obis Agency. And I've got 2 settings in the top nav. Let me turn on grids first. So this is kind of toggling on an invisible grid layer that lets me see the grids that this site was designed on. And let's turn on crazy mode. Okay, pretty cool, right? So it's just a different view on the content that I'm already looking at. And in terms of technical implementation, there are all these crazy mode layers that are by default hidden and get a CSS active class or something similar when I toggle crazy mode on. Okay, so I really like the effect. I mean, it's adding that extra layer of creativity, and then also providing, as I mentioned, that aspect of surprise and delight, and I think really well executed. Okay, let's look at another example. So if you're in the design or typography space, you might have seen this before. This website's been out for a few years from Google Fonts, and it's a microsite all around Korean fonts on Google Fonts. So the default view is actually a little bit crazy. This is the default view that I'm on right now, and I have this sort of X-ray cursor that lets me see all the vector points on the typefaces. Okay, and if I click anywhere on the site, I'm taken into the second view, which is this wavy, warpy treatment. I've also got this menu up top here. Okay, now I'm in sort of wireframey tunnel vision. So every time I click, I'm taken into another view, another treatment, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, this site has been out for years. I still love it every time I'm on it. I will say, in terms of aligning to the theme of this video, which is going from default to crazy mode, I wish the default mode was a little bit more default. Like, it didn't have that X-ray cursor, and that was sort of an extra level. But still, I mean, great execution, and I'd love to see this site evolve over the years. Okay, one more. This is studio number 10. I'm going to go ahead and enter this site. And here we have another example where the default sort of is crazy mode. So I'm in this isometric kind of Lego landscape. I'm scrolling naturally right now, and the site is scrolling me through this isometric view. And then if I want to get a clearer look at some of this body text, or just see this in a more traditional view, there's a view setting over here. Let me turn the sound effects off. And I can come into a more traditional linear view. So I think it's well done. I would also say, from a usability and accessibility standpoint, anytime you're defaulting to a really creative experience or a really unique layout, it's a good idea to have a more traditional alternative for people who might want to view that. I'll also say, and this goes for all of the examples that we've looked at, even coming back to dark mode and light mode, you're going to want to default to the user's system preferences. So for example, on my MacBook, I have dark mode set at a system level, at an OS level. And so any site that has both dark mode and light mode, I would expect it to default me to dark mode. So the same goes for if a user has an accessibility setting at an OS level, let's say they have reduced motion or something like that, in a website like this that has a more traditional view as opposed to the crazy mode view, you're going to want to default to that view. Okay, it's just a best practice and definitely a good thing in terms of usability and accessibility to respect and cater to those user defaults. Okay, that's all about crazy mode. Thanks for watching.